if you sell drugs today in this in the climate that we're in right now, and you're not gonna tell, then you're the dummy.
Really?
You what? You the dummy.
Because everybody's just telling?
Everybody gonna tell.
Really?
They're gonna charge them white your ass.
Really?
They're off the muscle. Yes. So that's why I stay away from all of that shit. Because I don't want to be the dummy.
But what's the difference right now in the dope game as opposed to back then? Just the fact that it's so much easier for them to make cases? Is it the fact that snitching is so much more normalized?
Is the thing is what you just said, the latter. Right, I would guess because I'm no longer part of that, right? So it's no work for the police to do. Whoever gets caught is gonna tell on the next most of the time. And I'm not saying everybody that sell dope is a rat either. I'm not gonna say that because maybe there are some people that still cut from that cloth, and I'm sure there are because I got partners that's solid, like my co-defendant, Big Baby. He could have told on me, and I would have never came home. You see what I'm saying? He could have just basically corroborated their story. And I never come home. My pills and everything get shut down. Then there's TCAG, TCAG stood up, Then you got other people that, that I don't know, that stand up and take their lick. But it's so many that don't, that, I don't even know how they do it, bro.
Right. I mean, when you watch like old documentaries about crime and stuff, and you see somebody in the 70s and they kill somebody and then they're just like, how the fuck are the cops going to solve this? I mean, I know they solved some murders, but it's just like when you watch that, you're like, holy, like it was unbelievably easy to get away with this shit, as opposed to today, where the first, like most of the people that I know who've been caught for murders, it's like technological means that they use to catch them. When you watch FBG Ducks killers get caught, and they've got 150 different camera angles from the highway that show the car driving to the scene of the crime, it's like, those guys probably would have walked away if it wasn't for the amazing amounts of surveillance that they have available.
But it exists, bro.
Yeah.
So you can't act like it. Who's mad about people telling?
Who's mad about it? I guess gangsters in general, people who really believe in the street code. Either.
So what do they do?
What do? They go on Clubhouse and complain about it, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. So if there's no consequences, right?
I mean, people get killed for ratting, right? I mean,
when?
I don't know.
Where?
I don't hear about it that much.
I'm not saying it don't exist, but it just don't exist enough for us to know, right? We can't think of nothing right off the break. So, and then what I've learned, man, dealing with people in close situations, that you never know what one man may have to do to save his life, and if that's what he had to do to save his life, then that's on him. You see what I'm saying? Like, it has no bearing on me.
Right.
Yeah, so, because look me up, bop.gov, or ask somebody. I did my time, and thank you, Lord, I came out of here pretty sane.
Yeah.
I'm burned up, but, I made it.
Right. I mean, people are anti-snitching, but people do not seem very willing to go catch a murder case in order to kill a snitch. That doesn't really happen anywhere near as much as
See
it
what I'm
probably
saying?
used to.
So all you're going to do is get a bunch of bad, seems to me, you're going to get a bunch of bad press. Motherfuckers going to say shit behind your back, or say shit on the podcast or whatever, or flash your paperwork. Then what?
Because, the thing is that very rarely does somebody get accused of snitching and it's so black and white that they just have to say, yeah, I'm a snitch. It's always like, no, here's my version of the story. Like we're used to that as a society now, where it's like half the country believes that the election was stolen and the other half believes that the election was fair. And it's like these people just both live in these alternate realities, the same way that I've seen people sit on the podcast and they've got paperwork that makes it clear as day that they cooperate in some way, and they just will sit there and just talk and talk and talk to the point where the average person just stops listening and is just like, whatever, I don't care that much,
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's just to each his own, and that I wouldn't want to have to deal with that myself, being in the drug game right now.
Yeah, same.
It's a lot.
I would hate to have to make the decision of this person that I love, that I f with, that I've been friends with for all these years, that my options are do 20 years in prison or do less time, but have to put 20 years in prison on this guy. Like, I don't want to have to make that decision. So I don't think selling drugs is for me.
See?
Also, if somebody robs me, I don't want to have to go kill somebody. And I feel like if you're going to get in the drug game, you pretty much have to take that on. You have to say, if somebody's going to rob me, I'm going to take it into my own hands.
Right.
I don't think I'm cut out for that kind of decision.
See, but you know what? And that's you. In other words, you say, I know my lane.
Yeah.
See, and that's what got the street so saturated right now is you got a bunch of weenies, right? They say, I'm going to get out here in the street. You know, I want to sag my pants. I want these skinny jeans. I want this fucking Louis or this Gucci with all this money. But really, deep down, you're really a weenie. And so when that pressure hit and that Fahrenheit hit your ass, you do what what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
When they burn all the impurities off, it's gonna be Oscar Mayer right there. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I mean, I think about that all the time when I see young kids getting murder cases and whatever else, and I'm like, I wonder how much time they spent thinking about what doing 20 years in prison was going to be like.
Man, I'm going to tell you a feeling. I got sentenced to 90 years, bro. 90. 3 30-year sentences.
It's like a long, drawn-out death sentence. What like you're going to die here, but we're going to just let you hang out for a while first.
And then the cold part about it is the feds, they read it off in months, right? So I'm thinking that I can't get no more than 12 to 15 years, right? So when they start he say, well, on the first count, 360, second count, 360, third count, 360 months. I'm like, who the fuck is he sentencing? You know, I'm thinking to myself. So if you listen to my music, you can hear it. Like I break shit down for you in such a way, if anybody is, has listened, to where you don't want to do that. I mean, because then they consolidated them and ran them concurrent for 130, but you talk 30 years, man, and you got to do 25 of that bitch. You know, that's with no time cuts, no shit like that.
Damn.
So when you listen to some of my songs, like my new album, Storytime, when I go through or Life is Outside, you go do this type of motherfucking time, you can actually listen to each song and know how I was feeling at the time. Because I put out 5 albums from prison.
Right.
Just to take with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who wants to go through that?
No, definitely. So what was that? How long did trial take, and what was that day like when you actually heard that sentence?
Man, listen, I'm going to tell you what the judge said. The judge said, because Thanksgiving was coming up, right? The judge said, I want to try to be through with it. This was like a week before Thanksgiving. 3-4 days, matter of fact. I want to try to be through with this before Thanksgiving because I want to eat turkey. This is when I knew I was in trouble. This judge, right at the beginning of court, he said, well, I understand that you're in the music business, Mr. Burns. I'm like, yes, sir. He said, well, I'm afraid I never heard of you because out here in Midland, Texas, we only know 2 types of music. And so I'm sitting here like waiting for this. Like he said, that's country and Western. And everybody busts out laughing. I'm like, oh, I'm finna die in this mother.
That's a good joke, although I'm sure you were not really in the
not right now
to hear that right
like,
now.
Man, now, hey, me and my mother locked eyes. I'm like, yeah, I knew right then it was good. But so to answer your question, man, the trial lasted about a week, man. And they found me guilty on my mom's birthday.
Oh,
November 22nd.
Wow.
2006. 6.
Damn.
On my mom's birthday.
And your mom was there?
Yes.
My mother. She spent her birthday finding out that about her son.
Right then. Yeah, it's crazy, man. So
what was going on in your mind when you heard that sentence?
I got numb, like literally, like you know how when your feet go to sleep?
Yeah.
Or you sit on the toilet too long because you're on your phone and shit, and then your legs start going to sleep. Guilty.
We all been there.
Yeah, literally, but that went through my whole body, and so, but I was trying to, stay as coherent as possible. And when he read each one, I was woke enough to like nudge my lawyer, like, hey,
bruh,
hey, motherfucker. Okay, get him to consolidate it. And then so my lawyer, he snaps because he tripping too, like, God damn, so he tripping. So he gets it, ran concurrent, right, pretty much on the spot that he put the paperwork, whatever he had to do for that. Because I knew right then it was just like, I got to fight. Like I know I got appeals coming because guys that were back there, I guess they kind of knew like, man, he going to lose, because they knew the system. So they had already, hey, you got this appeal, you got your 2255, you got your 3581, all that shit, 3518 or whatever. So I knew right then, bam, okay, I need to hire an appellant lawyer and, I don't know. I just think about all the shit in real time. It was kind of.
If you haven't tried everything 420 yet, you are missing out. From grinders and rigs to edibles and shrooms, they've got the biggest selection I've ever seen. It's like Amazon, but for smoking gear. Everything ships straight from Dallas, quick and discreet. Check them out. They've always got promos running, and use code NOJUMPER to save even more.